Shalom, shalom. Before I get started, I want to give all praises, honor, and infinite glory into Yahweh Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rachak, Kodash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone who rule and teach well. And also peace and safety to the Akim that spread across the four corners of the world, that's pushing out this truth with all diligence and putting their lives on the line to do so. I'm the brother Karatas out here at Great Millstone, Atlanta. Here at you with another lesson, mainly for younger, Akim, including myself, that's in the faith, and the truth. This is something that, that I, practice, and try to keep, when I'm around, elder men, seasoned men who have, wisdom, have more, understanding, more, time in the truth, than the average. You have to, carry yourself a certain way. This isn't, a crip, or a blood party. This is the ministry of Yahweh Bashem, Yahweh Shai. All right. And, mainly, when you're coming into a camp, around, brothers around Akim, you really have to observe, not only them, but yourself as well, because it's a major part in your growth. All right. So this is Sirach, or Ecclesiasticus chapter 32 and verse 7. It says, "Speak, young man, if there be need of thee, and yet scarcely when thou art at twice. Let thy speech be short, comprehending much in few words. Be as one that knoweth and yet holdeth his tongue." Right? Because mainly 9 times out of 10, whatever you're about to say, or speak, elder men, they probably already went through that, man. They already know, so you really can't, teach them, certain things, man. All right. And I have seen this before where, younger men come into the, camp acting as if they're, they know everything and, holding themselves, highly, with elder men, So it says, if thou be, verse 9, if thou be among great men, make not thyself equal with them. And when ancient men are in place, use not many words, because when you're around, the apostles and elders, the bishops, these, we're not on the same level as them, man. Just clear and straight to the point. We're not equal with them, man. All right, so don't make yourself equal with them. You trying to put yourself on that same platform as them, man, because that's going off. That's a time of learning when you're around, elder men. That should be a time of learning for you, soaking in information, soaking in certain stories that's being brought out, and, certain key points, of the scriptures, man. That's when it's time for that. Not for you to, be ruling over, the conversation. And this is, it may seem little, but it's not, because you best believe that, if you are that brother that's doing that, that they see it, So just observe yourself. The scriptures speak about, examining yourself, That's just not during the time of the Passover. That's, a yearly thing. Okay? So, And I just had the scripture in my head. Let me see. That one just escaped me, so I could. I know it's in the Apocrypha. Oh, yeah, the Spirit. The Water Yahweh by Shem Yahweh Shai. This is Sirach, or Ecclesiasticus chapter 6 and verse 35. It says, "Be willing to hear every godly discourse, and let not the parables of understanding escape thee." Right? And majority of the time, when you hearing the godly discourse is when you're fellowshipping with Akim. And if in order or to be able to hear, you have to be able to listen and understand and not talking. Because if you're talking, then you can't hear. You can't understand what's being said. All right. So it says, "Be willing to hear every godly discourse, and let not the parables of understanding escape thee. And if thou seest a man of understanding, get thee betimes unto him, and let thy foot wear the steps of his door." You see? So that's, the importance, of really obtaining this wisdom, knowledge, and understanding is being humble, man. Being meek, and understanding that the men that we around, you really have to believe, that Yahweh B'Shem Yahweh Shai is working through them, and not only through you. And that could be a huge, stumbling block, for younger men, that come into the truth, man. Thinking, that they on the level because, they're getting, certain visions or whatever the case may be. Still have that level of respect for elder men. So since I said that, I'm gonna grab the book of Hebrews, before I close up. And brothers know where I'm going, man. This book of Hebrews chapter 13 verse 17. "Obey them that have rule over you, and submit yourselves, for they watch." It says, "For they watch for your souls." All right. It says, submit yourselves, man. All right. Submitting yourself means you're not on the same level, as that person or as that brother, man. And obey them. All right. It says, "As they that must give account, that they may do it with joy." It's like it. It says, matter of fact, let me start over. Hebrews 13 and 17. "Obey them that have rule over you, and submit yourselves, for they watch for your souls." That's right, man. They watch over, our souls, man, and our teachers. For they, it says, "As they that must give account, that they may do it with joy and not with grief, for that is unprofitable for you." You see? So that's where the level of respect, comes in at, man. And you have to understand this. All right? So I just wanted to put this on wax, Lord willing, it was edifying. I'm going to go ahead and close up by giving all praises, honor, and glory unto Yahweh, Bahashim Yahushai, Bahashim Rachak Wadash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone. To the next time, Shalom.